everybody. Happy Saturday to you. I hope you are having a great Saturday and an amazing weekend so far. My name is Don Terrell, and I want to welcome you to another great episode of The Color of Motion, where I like to say, hey, stories come in all shades, and I highlight people of color and diverse backgrounds in the industry of motion graphics, animation, visual effects, cartoon, and comics and all that good creative stuff. Like I said, I hope you're having a great weekend. I cannot thank you enough, as always, for giving me a little bit of your time on this Saturday afternoon. I hope you're staying warm if you're here in the States. We're kind of going through a little cold front right now. It's cold where I'm at. And you know the drill. Hop into the comments, say, hey, where you tuning in from, while I make sure that we are in live on our channels here. I know you're excited about this show as much as I am, but and been looking forward to it. And I hope your new year has gotten off to a great start so far. Season 6 has gotten off to an amazing start. As you can tell, last week was a great kickoff for sure. And this week, today, is no exception. Looks like we're I don't know about Facebook. Let me make sure here that we are having issues with Facebook. I can see I'm not having it. If you are tuning in from the Facebook group, let me know if you're having issues. Doesn't I'm looking at it now and it doesn't look like it's going for whatever reason. So you may have to jump over to either LinkedIn or the YouTube channel, which is a great segue. Like I said, we are here each and every Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on the YouTube channel, LinkedIn. The Facebook group would be the Facebook group for the show, but not today since we're having technical difficulties with the Facebook group. But and the website for the show. But I always encourage everybody to hop over to the YouTube channel. That's where you can get connected, engage with everybody. YouTube.com at Don Terrell. Subscribe, share, hit the bell notification. That way you get notified of when the show goes live and great content goes up on the channel. Always looking to make it better. We came up a little short last year. My goal was to hit 1,000 subscribers last year. Hit my 1,000 subscriber goal last year. Came up a little short. I think 100, a little over 100, which I know we could do this first quarter. Just please make sure you share. Always make sure you share and subscribe because I definitely want to get this out to every creative out there, black or otherwise, that could get value from this show or really get some great information from the show. That's why I really work to get great, talented people on the show, and thankfully they do. They come on the show and really share their expertise and their knowledge, which is vastly deeper than mine. Another great thing, you can now find us on Spotify and some other audio platforms. We're on iHeartRadio.com or iHeart Music. We're also on Amazon Music as well, so you can find us there. I'm excited about that. It took us a while. That was a while in the making, and still we're working to make that the audio side of it really a really good experience as well. Definitely this year, season 6, I want to push, just supporting the platform and the channel. I can't do this without you for sure. So any support would definitely go a long way. It helps to continue to make great content and bring great people on the show. So I love a great cup of coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com/Don Terrell. And I would be greatly appreciated. Mr. DeMille, what's going on, my man? Happy New Year to you there, brother. Yes, this is the new year. This is the first time catching you on the new year here. So I hope you had a good holiday season and appreciate you, brother, for always supporting the show and stopping by. It's been a minute for sure. But today is going to bring a lot of people. I was excited. I knew today was going to bring a lot. I was getting a lot of traction on social media. So I was really excited about this. And I was telling him before the show, this is like 6 years in the making. I was trying to get him on in season 1. So finally get a chance to get him on. So I am super, super excited about this. Miss Maggie, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I appreciate you stopping by. So without further ado, I think we are ready to get this train on the tracks. What do you say?
When I wake up in the morning and wipe the yesterday from my eyes, before I shower, pick my clothes, and find the right tie, there's a boy inside I've tried to hide that wants to find his way. A boy whose tears have dried that just wants to be okay.
Oh man, that is amazing, and I hope you are as excited as I am. Like I said, and without further ado, we're gonna dive into it. This is amazing short, and I'm super super looking forward to my next guest. Again, this really was a long time in the making, 6 years. And so super excited to finally get a chance to have him sit down with him and have him be a part of the Color and Motion family. My next guest, he is a California native who grew up with a passion for storytelling, games, and BMX riding. His hunger and curiosities have set him on a path over the last nearly 2 decades working in games, film, and developing his own projects, as you can see. Everybody, please, please, please help me welcome my very special guest and friend, Mr. Frank Abney.
Hey. Oh man.
Yay.
I didn't know the applause was gonna be.
I tell everybody we bring our guests in like the superstars that they are. And you're definitely, like you said, for me, definitely one of the superstars. I've been watching and following you for a while.
Oh
I've been
man.
trying to get you on for a while, but
Yeah.
I am super, super excited, to
Life.
finally get a chance to sit down and talk to you, brother.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I appreciate the patience and I mean, you think about it. You think about it. 6 years ago, that was 2020, and from
Yeah.
from then from then has been like
It's been a journey for you. No, for real, it's been a journey
yeah.
for you because I'm trying to think if it was Andre Rodriguez that might have brought your name up or mentioned you or something like that.
Probably.
I
Yeah,
can't
Dre. Yeah,
remember, but then I came across, was checking you out and came across, your work. And at that time, you
mm,
were at, Pixar, and you were
mm.
working on Canvas at that time. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then, you went over to Netflix and it came on Netflix and watched it. And so I was like, okay, definitely got to get him on the show. So it's been it's been a journey, brother, and I
Yeah.
know it's been a amazing journey for you. And I have to start out and say, congrats. I know you were on the initial list for being considered for an Academy Award for Black Men, Black Men. You didn't
Mm,
quite make the Academy Award list, but you're racking up a lot of awards, a lot of accolades for black men, and I'm looking forward to sitting down, really diving in and talking to you about that because I had to watch it a couple of times, really, 2 or 3 times to really absorb it and get it.
I appreciate it.
So I'm really looking forward, from your perspective of creator making it and just everything. I always like to start kind of, what was that thing that kind of sparked the initial kind of interest in going in animation? You were doing a lot of things, you were storytelling, you were into BMX riding. What was it that kind of directed you towards, okay, animation is kind of this avenue that I think I could go down that would be a good path for me?
Yeah, I think it was a mixture. It was a mixture of just loving films and games, and I think one of the main things was like I was always like imitating, doing voices and you know imitating actors and people that I saw in these movies, and so like there was a part of me that wanted to be an actor, and then there was the love of creating, like I
Yeah.
was drawing a lot as a kid, and like many kids do, but I kept doing it, and it you start to progress, and then by the time I finished high school, I had learned, I was heavy in the BMX world, and that was like definitely a passion of mine there, but then um yeah, once I found out what people did in animation, I was like, oh, like that seemed like the perfect avenue to kind of blend all these passions together. It was like I think it was Brad Bird that said something about like what he loves about film is that it combines all the arts into one, and so
Yeah, man.
that's how I see it, and that's the beauty of it, and that
Yeah,
led me
creating
down
that
that path.
nice crossroads of everything that you love to do, meeting
Yeah.
at that crossroads there.
Hmm.
Was it a particular animation that you saw or documentary or book that you read that you finally clicked for you that said, "Oh, okay, I can make a living doing this." And this was something that people made a living doing and it was an actual job I can get into.
As far as making a living, like I'd say creatively, it was The Lion King. Like that was the connection
Yeah.
for me. But then on the career side, I used to watch they don't do it as much anymore now, but the DVD extras of a lot of the animated films, and I think one of the ones that really hit me a lot was The Incredibles.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
it came out 2004. I was already kind of on the path, but that kind of solidified things for me where seeing the window. I mean, Pixar did it on a lot of their DVD extras where you got to see the inside the studio, you
Yeah.
got to see the different people working in the different departments and what they did, and but that one was like he went through like from beginning of the production pipeline to all the way down to when they're recording the music and the score and everything, and I was like, yeah, this is this is and it seemed like they ain't living too bad,
Oh man, oh man. Well, I mean, obviously, at kind of that impressionable time, it's always good to have people that are your champions or people that are really encouraging. Was
Mm,
there any one person that was kind of your cheerleader? That really saw, the potential of what you could do, where you could go, and really
yeah.
got behind you to really push you.
I mean, it started at home. Like it started at home with my mom. It's like it was my family was small, so is I mean it's grown now, but
Yeah.
like it was my mom and my sister. That's um throughout growing up since my dad passed when I was 5, so it was but it started at home, my
So were
both
they anywhere in the creative space themselves, like
in their
musicians
own
or whatever?
ways. No, yeah, in their own ways, like my my mom is if she can tell stories. Like she may not know I'm paying attention when I'm hearing it, but I'm seeing the connection there. And then um and I don't know if my sister has thought about this, but she is quite the artist with hair,
Mm,
and she's been doing hair as long as I can remember. And
yeah,
so just seeing just how amazing she is there. And so I feel like there's definitely like a thread that's connected to all of us in different ways.
yeah,
And now my daughter is drawing a lot, and my son, he's great with building, and the way he thinks about like puzzles and things, I think, yeah, it's there somewhere. And but so that part started at home. But in terms of in the business, uh I think early on, like in college, there was a teacher I had, uh, Billy Berger. He doesn't know. I think I told him once, but he doesn't know that this impacted me a lot. But he had. I was on the brink of calling it quits. Like I was like, I don't think this is the path for me. Like animation
yeah.
was just it was just hard, and they just something wasn't clicking there. And so I was ready to explore some other stuff within animation, just maybe not being an animator. And I remember he had a talk with us, and it was an advanced 2D class, 2D animation class. And he talked about like something about doing what you're afraid of, and that hit me, you know thinking about how it's like, yeah, there is this fear of that I'm not going to be good enough to do what I want to do. And that kind of brought me back into it. Like, you know what, no, like and I got back to it, and just started from scratch, like kind of rebuilding
Yeah,
myself in a way,
yeah, yeah.
to learn from the basics again. And because it's like, I know something's not clicking, but it doesn't mean it's not going to click. And
Quick,
so
yeah. That's a
and
different way.
then
So was
he's
it?
something.
What was it about animating that was kind of giving you a hard time? Was it the acting? Was it the tool? Was it the? I don't know. There's a lot that goes into animating.
It was the
This one,
tools.
it really is a lot that goes into it.
It was the tools for sure. Like I just like
Okay.
I there was so much. Like, you open up like one of the main software packages we use, Maya. Like you
Yeah.
open up Maya for the first time, and you're just like
Oh
where
man.
where do I even start? Like I don't even know where the like I don't know what
Oh
I'm,
man.
and so
I
I I just I had to back it up. And even before I started school, I bought Maya, and I bought the book. So, and I went through each lesson, and it was so I felt like I was well rounded, but it didn't really teach you how to animate in there. And so it was like there's a difference. Like it taught you how to animate in terms of like how to literally like set keys and stuff, but
yeah, dude, use
you're
the
not learning
tool,
the
but not
craft of it,
the craft of it.
yeah. And so it was like, okay, how can I get the performance and ideas out in this way. And also, um you're looking at the movies and stuff, and you can't help but compare,
Compare.
as you're learning and stuff. Is like, but that's not a wise choice, because it's like, these are people that have been doing it for a while, and it's like you
Yeah.
got to start from somewhere. You're not gonna go, but I think in your young mind, you think like, if it's a passion of yours, there has to be something that's like, maybe my path to that thing, there's a little bit more, it may be a little more intuitive, but
Yeah.
no, it was not.
Or a
it
different
took a
path,
took a
because I tell
grind.
people, I guess I started picking up 3D, and I don't know
Mm.
if you remember it, but I started picking up 3D on Soft Image,
Oh, I remember something about it, yeah.
yeah, and it was like, 'cause I was doing some work, graphic design work for a company that
Mm.
built turnkey, toaster systems, and they were selling like
uh
Soft Amount. So they would let me come in, play on the computers, and learn the software and stuff. But I
uh
remember, man, when I cracked open Soft Image, especially when he brought out all the manuals. for it. I was done. I really was. That really, like you said, it turns you off, and it turned me off for a while until they started selling Lightwave, and that's when
I
it
remember
really
that.
That's when it really simplified it, and I got it. Then I was like, okay, it's
Mm,
you know, I'm not looking at all the bells and whistles of what
mm-hmm,
Softimage could do, but like you were
mm-hmm,
saying, it's like that was what they used on, you saw that was what they used on Jurassic Park. When Jurassic Park came out, they used Softimage, and it was like, well, my stuff doesn't look like Jurassic Park. Oh man. But what do you think about, I mean, you've been in the industry a while. This
mm,
time that we're in now, there's a lot of software out there that's just
mm,
powerful. Like you said, you just mentioned Maya. I mean, my guest
yeah,
last week, he uses Unreal. Blender's out there. What do you
that one
think
too.
about this time now that we're in as for creatives and what's available to them and what they can do?
I think I think the more tools that allow you to uh, bring what's in your mind out, the better. I think we have to not let ourselves get mesmerized by seeing a product or seeing motion, seeing
Yeah.
something move, because you can get lost in that. It's like, oh, I made that. But it's like you created something, or you got something on screen or something, but I feel like that stuff it can lead you down a path where you get more focused on that versus developing the craft, like
Yeah. Yeah.
developing, like what can you adapt that in any playing field, in any, like, can you take that and bring it, to paper? Can you take that and bring it to any software package, especially when it comes to AI? Like, it's you can generate things, you can get to a certain place within something that you want to create in your head. You can get that out easily and quickly, um, by comparison to having a designer, a modeler, a rigger,
Yeah. Yeah.
like all that stuff. And so it's great for people to be able to get these things out. Like, that's the positive. But I feel like every time there's something, I mean, we saw this with the rise of motion capture back in the day, motion capture, and animators. Like, there was this kind of similar
Yeah.
thing going on, and it's like, we don't have to do this and this, we don't have to go back and forth. Like, these are tools that can help. Like, the tool is there, it doesn't mean you have to use them. Like, and also, somebody who is using them, uh like, because one of the things I see on the side of on the AI side is, like, there's a whole lot of shitting on artists, like this is like, yo, you're in trouble now, like, how, Hollywood's in trouble now. Like, I mean, I don't consider Hollywood and artists in the same category, but that's the kind of talk happening. And then on our side, on the artist side, you're kind of like, okay, like, what? It just creates this back and forth, because then it's like, well, you're not creating that from scratch. Like, you're not, it's like, you're not. So, you're talking a whole lot of shit for somebody who's not doing,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's like, and I'm just like, we gotta just shut up and just,
Yeah.
like, just work on your shit. Like, just do your stuff. Like, work on
Learn the
developing your
craft.
craft and yeah, like,
Yeah.
why? Ooh, there's no need for all the boasting and the back and forth, and it's like, okay, cool, this tool is great, use it, don't use it.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's
it's
my
just about the
that's
work.
my
Like,
thought is, as an artist, if there's a way that you can see that it helps you in the pipeline of what you're doing as a creative,
yeah,
whether it be ideating, whatnot, use it. If not,
yeah, there's a
like you
lot of
said,
stuff
if
that
you don't feel it's to your benefit, don't use it. But I either way, it's not going anywhere. So
And also, yeah, that thing too, because I mean, and I think also I think there's a responsibility, to be aware of what some of these tools can be pulling from. Like
yeah,
what artists
yeah,
are you stealing from, and allowing allowing others to rip the styles off of these people who have taken years to develop that style,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then call it your own. Like there's one thing to adapt, and there's one thing to find um inspiration, to be inspired by a look, and okay, I love that look, I want to try to adapt that into something that I'm doing, and then you continue to evolve. It's the whole iron sharpens iron thing,
yeah,
and but companies there, I've seen a couple companies that actually license, so they're actually paying, the artist to use their work, and
yeah, yeah,
so the
yeah,
artist is willingly giving you their stuff
yeah,
to train
yeah,
your model with,
yeah.
and it's like,
And I
okay,
guess that was the thing. They weren't getting
that I can get
compensated for the
behind. Right.
artwork that they were. Let it be their choice whether or
Yeah.
not, okay, hey, you can use my artwork, just compensate me
Yeah.
for it accordingly.
Yeah. So then it's like they're willingly giving, allowing you to do this, rather than them seeing something pop up. So someone's like, look what I did. But then, and also in the same breath shitting on artists, and also shitting on, and it's like, yeah, but you
Oh man.
tell me,
Well,
show me the blueprint, show me the underneath the framework on how you got there. you know
well, I'm curious what your take is. Obviously, I mean, we were just talking about AI, but as it seems like a
mm,
lot of artists and a lot of creatives are pivoting, because of their, just the industry has been hard.
mm,
People getting laid off. Whether it's due to AI or whether it's due to something else, people are, companies are letting people go, and people are
yeah.
having to either pivot altogether into a different industry or
Mhm.
genre or whatever. But it's been hard. um do you see that changing, or do you now, because I feel like now creatives are almost like uh mini media companies.
Studios, and
Yeah,
yeah.
many media companies where they're doing so many different things, whether it's courses, whether it's plugins, whether it's YouTube sponsored. They're doing all these different things and kind of trying to monetize their own IP creatives now. Do you see
Yeah.
that that's kind of direction where creatives are kind of going? They're saying, well, okay, now in this time I can kind of monetize my own ideas and not be hindered.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, my fiance's in the chat.
Yep, let me throw it. Hey
Hey, babe.
there.
Tamara.
Tamara.
um,
Appreciate
yes.
you tuning in, Tamara. Showing the support. That's good.
Oh, yeah, that's my heart right there. Yeah, I
Cool.
think I feel like that's the route. Like that's because I mean, honestly, people are tired of it. Like we're tired of, you wanna milk all of what we do,
Yeah.
but then also it's a lot of taking. Like, yeah, we get paid. Yeah, in some cases get paid well. In some cases not so much. Sometimes you get, there's, but I feel like the balance is always, or the scale is not tipped in our favor, and
Favor.
so
Yeah.
you have to be. I mean,
Well, do
since
you feel
college.
like it is now? Because creatives do have this power as far as what they can do with their own. I mean, not everybody's cut out for that. I keep prefacing. Some
Mhm.
people just you have to have a lot of drive to do it. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is like it puts the power, it puts the ball in your court. In terms of creating your own stuff, and doing so, because a lot of times you'll get hired for something, and you'll get hired for how great you are at what you do, but then they don't want you to do that. They want you to try to take that and adapt it here,
Yeah.
which it makes sense. But then also, there's this thing of you having to try to prove yourself. Is like, wait, but you hired me under a certain you have a certain caliber with your hiring, but then now I'm having to prove myself again,
Yeah.
and it becomes a weird thing, and I think it's better for a lot of people to just create for themselves and find a way to free themselves of that, because I mean, there's a lot of the between the schedules, and there's the schedules, and then the low pay, and it's people are trying to survive.
Yeah. No.
It's and you can have you see it pop up all the time about so and so's CEO, in the millions they're getting, and a lot of times those of us working on films and stuff,
Oh
like,
yeah, no, definitely don't
families
do
may
it.
think,
The balance
yeah,
don't jive. Yeah, the numbers don't jive when it comes to
they're like, oh, that movie made $1 billion. And you're like, it's like, wait, let me stop you there. Like, I do not, I am
Oh
not getting a
man,
percent
yeah. When
of
you get
that.
down to
Like,
the nitty gritty, the numbers don't jive of what some of these movies make versus what the actual people that are making the film get.
yeah,
Type of thing.
yeah.
For
I value companies that really value their people.
people,
Like,
yeah.
and some of the biggest companies out there are also some of the cheapest when it comes to,
Well, and
the,
I was going to ask you that, and for everybody that's just jumping in, we're having an amazing conversation. I don't want to forget you, my fans. You got to keep y'all in along right for the ride. Hop into the comments. You have a chance to ask, the man anything here. So, take the opportunity. But if you're just jumping in, we're having an amazing conversation with my guy, Frank Abney, award-winning animator, director, writer, poet. I want to dive into kind of, just black men and black men, and kind of.
mom's in here. Sorry,
Oh,
cut you off. My mom's in
hey,
here.
we got to give mom a shout out. Charlotte, Miss Abney. I hate calling. I'm respectful, So
Yeah, she's
Miss
from Texas too. So yeah,
Miss
yeah.
Abney, we thank you
Miss
for
Abney, man.
supporting your son there. Appreciate it. Yeah. Your son was a tough fish to reel in. It took me 6 years to reel it. I'm going to keep reminding you, it took me 6 years to reel in your son there, man.
She
But
knows how life is
I
life,
am
and
super glad that you stopped by and are checking out the show. How difficult? Because I want to know. Because I know for me, it's tough working a job. When you were working at Pixar, working on your own stuff, how hard was it keeping the energy? Getting the energy after a full day's work, putting on your own. Putting energy to your own stuff.
yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, it's tough. Like, yeah, to have that energy after giving it all, during the day, is kind of like, you have there's the I think it's the passion that needs to be there. The passion. That's why I tell my students too. Like, I tell them, like, when you're choosing something to work on, like, pick something that you care about, because you're going to be stuck with it.
Yeah.
And those are the things that's going to keep you going when you just worked overtime, and you're like, oh, I gotta
It's
get this,
just
I
you.
gotta get this done, and you know throw kids in the mix as well, and so you like, I have these other responsibilities I have to take care of,
Yeah.
but then also I have my dreams as well, because I'm a firm believer that you put, as much as you give out, in terms of your time, and what your priorities are, you need to also have yourself on your priority list,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's also you setting an example. Like, if you do have young people around you, and it's like, you, rather than you telling them to go after your dreams and working hard pays off, with whatever you're trying to do, actually showing them that it's possible through yourself I think that's a big thing. And so, I think those are the when you're choosing something that you care about, those are the things that I think about when I don't want to do something, or when I'm like, it's like, but then also also it's listening to yourself too.
Yeah.
Listening to your body. Like if you're not feeling it, you know, maybe it's okay, I'm gonna put in 30 minutes, or maybe I'm not gonna do anything tonight because I don't want to force it and end up with something that isn't that great. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you have to listen to your body, and you know, and some days if you're only putting 10 minutes, it's like that's still 10 minutes, you're still moving the needle. You
Yeah.
know, that's that little progress is still progress. So you know, not being as so hard on yourself to the point of you know, you're forcing something that is not a good representation of what you're capable of,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Everybody, just jumping in. Like I said, we are having
Aaron,
a great conversation. You know, I gotta throw him in here because
yeah, yeah, Aaron McGriff.
I'm gonna call him out while he's here because I've been trying to get him on as well, Mr. Aaron McGriff. So now, Aaron, when you see my messages in LinkedIn, you know why. You know,
Call you.
I've been trying to reach out to you, man. I know you're doing some amazing stuff. And this is another reason. Like I said, I understand he's a working animator, works at
Mhm.
Pixar, does some amazing and he's got. I have to give you a shout out, Aaron. I will. He has an
Yeah.
amazing animation course now. He's teaching young animators how to character animate,
Mhm.
and he's doing an amazing job. Aaron, please, I want to get you on. So at least respond back and say, "Hey, quit bothering me."
That's my guy right there. He helped out
No.
on Canvas also.
Oh man, yeah. So like I said, and another thing I realized, talking, as I've met people and connected with friends and stuff, it's a really small industry, and people really know each
Oh
other. Have worked at different studios, gone to school, that type of thing.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
we were talking about this a minute ago. Do you feel like, because we were talking about just the big studios, do you feel like that massive change in the industry is going to come from the small studio, the indie creator?
Oh yeah, because we we're the ones that's not afraid to take risks. And I'm gonna just say it, like you know, it's like you got. It's interesting how it works out because it's like, you know, there's high risk, high reward, and yeah, I get it. I get it. Companies, they're, you know, a business.
Yeah,
They're a business, and you have a lot at stake. So
yeah,
I understand that part, but also I feel like there are some times where the business outweighs the show. You know, in show business, there's and I think um, sometimes you got to think about the business you're in. So the creative side of things, I think, you know, sometimes those scales need to balance out a little bit more because
yeah,
you see the big swings of some of these films that end up being huge, and
yeah,
then you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? Or not why didn't I think of that, but why didn't I say it was pitched to you? Why didn't I see it? Why didn't I
yeah,
see it and back it then? And it's like, yeah, because the creative instincts are falling to the background a little bit because of the business side, which again, it's understandable. I get it, but I think that's where the indie creators come in because, you know, we have a story to tell. We have things that speak to us and are pulling us in a direction where we have to get this out. And so even if you don't have the funds, you don't have the resources, like it's gonna get out eventually.
yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
think when you see the richness and you see the personal stories that come out, you see the people that are moved by it, like all these things I think feed something, and I hope it feeds something in, you know, certain executives that have opted to go the other route, you know, in favor of, you know, the
yeah,
box
yeah.
office, you know, things like that.
Well, let me ask you: was that an easy or hard transition, kind of figuring out kind of the business side as far as pertaining to, okay, I've got this, like Canvas, I've got this thing, and
Mhm.
then you're having to negotiate, and you're talking with these big companies to get it out there. Was that a kind of a learning, kind of a high learning curve for you, or was it kind of an easy thing for you to kind of walk into? Because, like you said, that's the thing. I think creatives have a hard time with the business side of being
Mhm.
a creative.
Yeah, I think you're so sheltered in the studio system. You don't have to worry about these things. You don't you don't you don't see all the things going on behind the scenes. Um, oh, my son's there. Hey, Avian.
Hey, hey, look
My-
at oh, the whole family's
he's
here.
he's talking on my mom's.
Oh man, this came in kind of large. Let me slow this down.
um,
Hey,
but
Papa,
yeah,
I
you
see
see,
you. That's nice. Oh man, love
I
it.
it's one of the things that you are sheltered from a lot. The same thing with like producers as well.
Yeah,
Because I'll try to reach out to independent producers or something. When I'm trying to I have a project, but I need to try to find a way to get funding or something, and sometimes they won't know how to go about that because again, in the studio, you're all that stuff is taken care of. And so for me jumping into my own projects, it was kind of like, yeah, there's trial and error, and then um there's reaching out to people that have done it and seeing if you can talk to them, even like outside of your medium. Like I
yeah,
learn a lot from friends in the live action space,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and actors that have been trying to create their own stuff. And like I because then I can pull from those learnings, and then how can I adapt that here in my own way, or use those learnings to then build on or something. So um yeah, it takes a little bit. And even like with Black Man, I was learning about working with SAG because I hadn't worked with actors on my own personal project before.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
it in the studio space, but then now doing it myself, I'm like, oh,
And I
there's a
was
lot
gonna
of
ask
paperwork, there's a lot of
you
stuff.
what, and I was gonna ask you kind of what was the kind of big thing that you pulled from Canvas and doing Canvas that you took into
Mm,
Black Man, Black Man.
I'd say trying to do more with less, because Canvas was very, like, even though we had a successful Kickstarter, that was still not enough money
Yeah,
to do what we did. And so it was really trying to use what you have, which I think, as Black folks, we're used to doing that.
yeah.
So it's like, where you use what you have
we
and try to,
are, we are, we
and
are.
so there's because of how I went through school. We were talking about it before we got started, but like, I found myself being a lot more well-rounded. So it was like, okay, if there's certain stuff that I could do, I may have to take that on, even though it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
I may have to take that on because I can't afford to pay someone else. So I'll take the hit myself
yeah,
and not get paid for that, and just do it so we can get done. And then the big things that are going to be on screen, okay, let me see who I can find so I can hire for that. But then the other stuff, I can do myself, or like, rigging and stuff, or these things that I haven't done professionally. I'm like, okay, I could do it. I just,
yeah.
it's my own insecurity of not doing it professionally. So it's like,
You can do it,
I can
but
do it for myself, and it may take
yeah,
me longer because it's not my typical,
yeah. That's
it's
not your
not
day
my,
in and day out job of
yeah,
rigging stuff. So yeah, no, I get it. I get
yeah.
it for
So it's
sure.
that's mainly what I learned from that. Because we I mean, tight pipeline as well, like, or I'll say limited, because I mean, we had
Yeah,
Google Drive. That's
yeah,
how we did everything, because you can share files, and there's a versioning system built in. And
yeah.
so we can do that and not,
Well,
it
I
was
want to
just
dive
easier.
into Black Man,
Mm,
a little more. First of all, it's from a poem you wrote, right?
hmm
How long ago did you write the poem before you,
hmm
thought about it could be a good animation, or was it kind of a short period?
It was probably a few months before I decided to do something about it, and this was early 2022. Um, yeah, it was early 2022, and I wrote it just in my notes on my phone, just like you're going through, you're having these feelings or certain experiences, whether at the job and life, whatever. And what I try to do is to get it out in a
Yeah.
productive way. So, I jot down thoughts, I jot down things even that maybe I'll never see again. I just get it out, and I felt this poem in it. As I listen to a lot of music when I'm working sometimes, and so I kind of saw a flow to it,
Hmm.
and I saw this callback, with stating these feelings, and allowing, you know, uh, God or whoever your higher power, whatever that is for everyone, like that, speaking back to you, and just to kind of soothe and speak to yourself in a way as well. Speak to yourself.
Yeah.
Speak to that child within you that that didn't see where you were going to be now, or didn't see that you were going to figure it out. You were going to, and it was just, getting those things out, and then um,
Or just the
figuring
day
out
to
I want to
day
do something with it.
struggles that you go through, or
That
have to
too.
go
Yeah.
through. That just and trust
Yeah.
me, like I said, it really should have got on the list for
I appreciate that.
Academy Award. Really should have, but because it really is powerful. Like I said, I had to sit down like two or three times to really absorb it, because obviously, and I want to ask you this: what you've heard from other black men that have maybe watched it? Because as I was watching it, I was thinking, obviously, you're replaying as a black man all the same stuff that you were
Mm,
talking about and showing
mhm.
in the short, and through all of that, trying your best to keep that little kid inside you alive through this whole thing.
Yeah.
That it's going to go all right
Yeah.
through it. Um, for you, as you were working through that whole process, I mean, I know what I felt as I was watching it. I mean,
Mm.
what did you feel as you were kind of doing it, or what was kind of that? I mean, you don't have to dig like into that very thing, but that motivating thing that kind of initially sparked that poem, and with just a hard day, or just somebody getting on your nerves, or just that type of thing. You're like, okay,
It
or
was.
I'm pulled over. Because trust me, I have those moments where, like, which I wish I was a little more creative in writing. I guess that's why journaling is really good. You get your
Mm,
ideas out
yeah.
there, but you have those feelings, like I said, those emotional feelings, like, oh man, you see the lights in the back of your car. Oh, geez, this is something else that you have to go through. What have you heard, or what have other black men told you they felt after watching that,
I think
if
the the
anything?
most I think the most that I've heard was how necessary it was, and um, how necessary it was to be seen, and for that to be felt. Because I mean, you you grow up and you learn how to navigate this world, and a lot of it is how to make other people comfortable.
Yeah,
A
around
lot
you.
of it is right. So I have to cater to your irrational fears when it comes to me just existing. And like, you think about it, you say it out loud. It's like that's
Bullshit.
some dumb shit. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
and so I'm not as I get older, as everyone, as you get older, you you get older, and your care goes down as well. And so even with the title of the film, I was like, I know this may not go over well. I know people may not accept it. People may push it, like, but I'm gonna do it anyway because it's
yeah,
mine.
yeah.
And so, but the necessary aspect of it, like that, just it existing and people feeling seen, that was the main thing that I would hear, and that was like, all right, that's all I needed. That's all, like, because I it was about me, but I knew it was a shared experience,
Yeah,
whether you're a black man or not. It's a
yeah.
shared experience, and so
Um,
just that's why I do this stuff anyway. Is to you're building bridges, and you're allowing people to be sucked into art and a world that they belong in. They're not. You don't feel alone in it, and
yeah.
that's
Well,
ultimately
it
the goal.
was like I said, it's an amazing. You got to see the full animated short. It's amazing. Stylistically wise, did you always envision it black and white? And stylistically, how it is that how you were thinking, or was that just kind of a happy accident during production that okay, this is kind of a style
Mhm.
that came through production
Yeah,
that I kind of like and you settled on.
yeah. That was the plan, because it was I and I almost convinced myself out of it, a couple times, just out of my own, like, what ifs, that you ask yourself. But that was the plan, because I was a big, I mean, not was, but I am, I'm a big fan of. There's two big inspirations. So, and I'm a big fan of both of these people. So Bradford Young on the cinematography side, and then Gordon Parks is his
Mm,
black and white photography, and
yeah,
the meaning behind these images. And so, thinking of what I could do, kind of channeling both of these people in my own way, and also, but it couldn't just be black and white for the sake of being black and white. There is, finding meaning in it.
yeah.
That had to come first. And so, that was through just kind of the lens that I've felt, when people have, you talk to people about your experiences or something, and they may not quite get it, and it's like, well, why don't you just do this, why don't you just do that? And it's kind of this, like, well, maybe you can, but I can't, like, it's like I can, but the outcome is going to be different for me.
Yeah,
And your navigation is always, it can be seen as this black and white thing of, like, there's only two, there's the gray area that we have to really think about. We can't just do A or B,
yeah.
so that black and white thing, like, that's kind of what I was thinking about
Well,
when.
did you take the whole process, uh, from working at Pixar on that? Like, you had a set amount of time that you were going to dedicate to, say, pre-production. You had a set amount of time that you were going to dedicate to this, do this whole thing, so that you can actually get through it. I mean, did you, like I said, you know how we can do projects and not put it on a schedule and just kind
Yeah,
of go,
yeah.
okay, get lost and I do it or don't. Did you kind of okay? I want to do Black Man, so I got to
Mhm.
map out a production schedule that I'm going to stick to.
Kind of, yeah. There, like, I had an idea of when I wanted to finish it, but I didn't quite map out a like a defined schedule, like, because I knew we weren't working with a specific budget. So
Mm.
it was like, I had to I knew I had to take pauses, because I may not have money for this. And so, whenever I yeah, like, that's
This is
the
bootstrap
like,
here.
I may not. So, and so I gotta wait a little bit until
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have something to put down on
Well, I
this,
have
or
to ask, how'd you? So, how did you decide or get? Uh, you got Yvette Nicole Brown doing the female voice. I forget the gentleman that's doing the male voice, the
oh, Aldous
voiceover for it.
Hodge. Yeah, so
Uh,
we had, yeah,
but
both.
how did you get actually? I mean, did you reach out to them? Were you connected with them, or that kind of thing?
Yeah, I had known them already, so it was like,
Okay,
and that's but that wasn't why I reached out to them, though.
yeah,
Like, because I saw their, like, their voices, though they were the ones that shine through when I was thinking about, like,
yeah,
not having myself narrate this. I was like,
Well, I mean,
thinking
it
of the
definitely,
contrast.
but it definitely helps that
Mm,
personally. I say Yvette Nicole Brown. You say you
mm.
know her or have a connection with. Definitely helps that you can. Hey, Yvette, call her and say, or text her or message her and say, Yvette, I'm working on this, and I thought of you
Mhm.
specifically for this voice. Would you be available to do it? That's definitely a plus. that it helps.
Yeah, I mean that's I and even if I didn't know them, I mean that would be the route that I want to take anyway. Like I'd rather speak to the people directly,
Mm.
so you can hear from me the intent, and you can hear what this is coming from. Because especially with it being an independent short film, like you run that through an agent, like they may not even they're I'm not speaking for any agents, but just thinking like, because it's happened before, like you're thinking about that 10%, and I'm gonna
Yes.
have 10% of nothing. So I'm not, maybe I don't tell them about this, and they could do something more lucrative with their time. And so it's so I'd rather go directly to the person if I can. So I'll find my ways, if I don't know them already.
Gotcha. Everybody just jumping in. I gotta throw this in here. Yeah, I gotta throw this up here in due time. Hey, if I can wait 6 years for Frank,
he said he said it hasn't
I
been 6 years
guess I
yet.
can wait 6 years for you, man. In due time, in due time. So,
Don't
nah,
set any
I know.
records. Don't set any records, Aaron.
I tell everybody, I trust me, I understand that a majority of my guests are working artists and that they're working at
Mm.
studios and have a lot of other stuff going on. So I tell them I'm persistently patient. Persistently patient.
You are.
No, it hasn't been 6 years for you. It's only been about maybe a year and a half for you. It hasn't been 6 years for you. It's been about a year and a half for you. Now it was 6 years for Frank.
Yeah, 4.5 to go.
So hopefully it doesn't get 6 years for you. So,
Yeah.
but definitely want to have you on though, there, brother. This mom, Miss Abney. No, that's your son.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Papa,
yeah.
I
My
see
son
you.
talking.
Yep, that's your son again. Um, I'm curious, what's been kind of the best piece of advice that somebody's given you? That's kind of helped you. So far
Mm.
to this point.
I'd say. I mean, it's something. It's something I keep in my head now. That's like, um, I don't even remember who told me. It was like, but the worst you can hear is no, kind of thing, like that. That's and I take that, I keep that with me because um well, two things. The worst you can hear is no, and also one thing that my mom has told us, my sister and I, since we were young, which is you can do anything you set your mind to, as long as you're willing to do the work. So with those two things, it I feel like whenever I have an idea or I want to do something, like there's no like walls there, in terms of, yeah, there's going to be some roadblocks, because it may be difficult to get the
Yeah,
thing, but I never think about it as this is not going to happen. I just think
yeah,
about it as like it's going to take some time to happen, but
yeah. May
it's
not
gonna
be
it's
a
gonna it's
straight
gonna
path.
happen.
Yeah, it's not going to be a
Because
straight path, but I'll get
yeah,
there.
because I know I'm willing to do the work,
Mm,
and I know I'm not going to wait for somebody else to say yes. So, when it comes to creating something, if I've like these things have been pitched, like my both of these, Canvas and Black Man, have been pitched around to places that have said no,
yeah,
and it's like, okay, well, that was only to get you to pay for it.
yeah,
And because I didn't. there's no, I already know what I want to do with it. And so, all right, you said no. So let me do my thing with it, and I'll figure it out. And so, that's something that I take with everything else. And so, and um, I have my little slate for myself.
Yeah.
I have my things that I want to do, and I just know it's going to happen in time, because I work full time too. So, I have to make sure that my time during the day is dedicated where it needs to be for my, you know, um, whatever job I'm doing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
And it's
so
even
it's,
tougher because you work, you have a family that you have to
uh,
give time to,
mm,
people that you have to give time to. So it's a lot, and then do your own, try and like you said, have the energy and
mm.
the drive to do your own thing.
Yeah, but I mean, but I hope, and I try to extend these learnings, to my kids as well, just to, make sure that they are taking these things, and, they can take it and expand on them as well, even when I'm gone, like you can, it just knowing that you can do these things if you're willing to work for them, because no one's gonna hand you anything. No one's gonna. I mean, some people get handed stuff, but they don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
And some, it's. I just, yeah. Though, I mean, those are the two things, though.
Now, and you guys know how I like to do. Drop bombs. I gotta drop a bomb. You know how I like to do it. Mr. Paul, I appreciate you tuning in there, man. Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Hey, we have fun here at the Color of Motion, and
Yeah.
well, that's how we do it here. That's how we do it here. What's, kind of, and, we've been doing this, an hour, like you said, it goes by quick. Uh, what kind of are the stories that you're kind of looking to tell? I mean,
Mm,
Canvas and Black Man, they're really personal. I mean, Canvas was a really personal kind of story. What
mhm.
other stories are you kind of looking to kind of maybe sink your teeth into, or that kind of
Yeah.
spark your interest?
I mean, they're all gonna be personal, in some way. Like it all has to start from, somewhere truthful, and somewhere that is connected to my heart, so I can put that into it, and other people can feel it when they watch it as well. And I have a western that I'm working on right now, called The Turners, and that one, it's a I mean, of course, it's a western, so it's a little older audience. So I don't want to box myself in,
Yeah,
just
we're gonna bring you back
because.
on when it comes to fruition. There, it starts to when you start to flesh it out. We're definitely gonna have you back on and talking about it. Um,
Yeah, it's a big one though. It's a fun one, but it also, there's heart at the core of it. It's like, you have these two people, in the later stages of their life, that have to return to a life that they put away 30 years ago. It's like, but they have a, some comes up that pulls them back into the fold. And you have the action and things of and the action and drama of a western, but then you also have, at the core of it, is a love story, that you see begin to
yeah.
unfold within it. And yeah, so that's the next one coming up.
So, as far as like which I don't know if you get a chance to watch a lot of animation, which you work in and everything that you're doing, but what's
Mhm.
kind of like one outside of Black Man and Black Man, of course. What's kind of some out there now or kind of recently that you I like that. I like what they did on
Mm.
that, and I like how it came out, type of thing.
That's specifically animated.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
specifically animated. Well, I won't
Yeah,
I won't hem you up with animation. Well, give me one. Give me an
just
animated and give me a movie. Yeah, because you do animation. Give me an animated one, whether it's 2D, 3D, and then give me just a general, film.
mm. So I think on the animation side, let's see. I'd say, does it have to be new, or does it
Doesn't
have to
have
be
to be
just
new.
something that
No,
I've
it doesn't
seen?
have to be new. Just
Okay. Um, yeah, I think going back to uh, what was it? I'll say not. It's not any one film, but um, going back to there are some stop motion films
mm.
that I really enjoyed, and not just on the animation side, but the craft side of it as well,
Oh
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's also something that I wish that like I could do and do more of. It's like I've
I tell people I
and it,
got my GI Joe dial. Whoops, I got my uh hold on, got my GI Joe dials up here. I thought about doing stop motion with my old GI Joe dials. So
oh yeah.
I love it because
Yeah.
again, when you see the behind the scenes, man, you can't
Mhm.
help but walk away with an appreciation for the craft of it.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that I like too. Like where, because I took a few wood shop classes in high school, and on the BMX side, I used to build my ramps and stuff, and I
Yeah,
used to I made like scale skate parks and stuff. Like it was, just the making stuff is like that's what really
tactile. Yeah,
attracts me to stop motion. And so what Leica has been doing with some of their like Kubo and the Two Strings
yeah,
is
yeah.
one of my favorites of theirs, and I mean, and just animated films in general, like um so I've gone back to that a few times in recent years, and rewatching that. And I think on the live action side, I'd say as far as something new, I feel like Sinners was such
Mm,
a um, a brilliantly crafted film that spoke to just different parts of my soul,
yeah. A lot of
and
people's
also,
soul. Yeah, yeah,
also you see a friend out there doing some, like, Ryan being able to, like, get his own stuff out, get his own, because I was just talking about this earlier today, where you can get pigeonholed. They box you in to,
yeah. Real
you know,
quick,
because of the success of Black
Black
Panther and
Panther.
Creed. They
Yeah,
may they may continue to want you. Oh, it was the next Black Panther, the next Creed, the next, like, and it's
yeah,
but
yeah,
that doesn't mean that that's all they have in there,
yeah.
and then so
And it's
that's
going
on
to
the
take
newer
him
side
as
of
a
things.
director standing on that, not allowing him himself to get pigeonholed.
Yeah.
It's going to take him not allowing himself to get pigeonholed into a certain
Hmm.
genre or a certain thing if he's got stories.
Right. And there's, I really like intimate films as well, and so one of the ones that I've been going back to was Swan Song,
Mm,
which a lot of people don't know about, because it was I found out about it through Academy voting and stuff, and it came up, and I was like, oh, like, what, Apple Apple, they probably advertised and I didn't see it, or they didn't, I don't know.
oh
Y'all can
man.
decide that. But yeah, Swan Song was one of those, Mahershala Ali, great actor,
Mm,
and great chemistry too, like the two of them, like, um I'm drawing a blank. Let me see real quick.
well, I guess that's the good thing about your time at Pixar, because that's the one
Naomi
thing I did.
Harris.
Yeah, that's the one thing I did like about Pixar. They really focused on story. That was first. How the story kind of, you know, unless there's something I
Because
missed
that's
there.
gonna carry everything. That's
Yeah,
gonna carry the whole, like, no matter how good it looks, no matter how good the animation is, like
but
you
you
can
see a
be like,
lot. Yeah, there are a lot of films out there that don't think about it, but they get made anyway.
yeah, it's like you.
So you
I
appreciate
feel
the
like that's
ones
the
that
core.
take the effort,
Yeah, I
you
want
know.
because I need substance. I need to feel like I need that what's underneath all of what I'm seeing. Like and for me, Swan Song was one of those big ones that it's heartbreaking, but also there's a nice charm to it. I love seeing, I love a good love story,
Mm-hmm.
and this had that great. You see them meet on the train, and you see the chemistry between Mahershala and Naomi Harris's characters, and the kind of playful flirting that led. You see what leads to this family of theirs, but you also see the tragedy of this love that is sure to end soon. I'm going to
Yeah.
give away some spoilers, but he has something going on with him health wise, to where you know he, he wants to spare the heartbreak, because you have three people involved now. Instead of breaking three hearts, I'm gonna try my best to only break one, mine. And so it's in the future, so there's an ability to clone myself, and so they won't know that I'm gone when I pass. And so, but then it's like, how do you deal with confronting that? Like when you're getting all that ready, it's like you gotta face that. Oh, this person is gonna be living my life now. And when you witness it, and, you can't help but witness, like, you see the love and the connection that they have, and you thinking of it as a different person is like, no, but I mean, it's me, but it's not me. I'm me. Like, it's a weird thing, but it's like the choice is for the greater good of his family. And it's just it's beautifully shot as well. And yeah, it's just a great film.
Well, have you found that? I'm not gonna say obvious, but have you found that like poetry writing it helps you script write better, or kind of long form write a little
Mm.
better, or is that still maybe challenging for you sitting down and before you get into an animation? How do I write? Well, I guess black man doesn't necessarily have like you know uh you know characters that are talking, but it has
Mhm.
voice over.
Yeah.
But do you do you sit down like first, and has that helped you kind of craft out story, or what kind of story wise or crafting story wise did you kind of pick up from, say, like Pixar? What kind of nugget did you kind of pick up as far as crafting a story, if
Mm.
anything?
I mean, I think the main thing I took from them was not shutting down ideas before they get to live. Because a lot of times you'll have an idea for something, and you'll shut it down in your own head before you even speak it.
Yeah.
And so um, that's one of the things I learned there. And I took an improv class there as well, that
Mm-hmm.
really hammered on that as well, because you gotta think on your feet. You don't have time to shut down an idea before it comes out. Like, and so
Well,
that's
were
one
there
thing
things
that.
on Black Men that you wanted to kind of put in there, but maybe for time's sake or for convenience sake of just
mm,
being able to do it, you couldn't put it in at that moment? Was there anything that
mm,
you wanted to go in there but didn't?
no, no, I mean, it's just I think um uh it's just more of like being able to build further on what you have, in terms of, like, the uh specificity of a city, what else goes on in a city, what else, like it was more like just building on what's there, but nothing. Yeah, I didn't shut anything down that I wanted to put in there
Mhm.
content wise. Yeah, it had everything. um and I think that's the beauty of doing your own projects, is like there's some things you may have to cut, but it's like you were deciding
What gets cut?
what's the cut, and not, you're not thinking about length and stuff, about, when it comes to a a certain a specific audience, because I'm a firm believer in that. Your audience is going to find it. It's not, you can't make any one film or game or whatever that's going to satisfy every audience. Like it's
Yeah,
just I just can't think that way. And when I do, it just feels like you're just going to end up watering it down, because you're trying to please too many people. And so you're putting in, taking out, putting in, taking out, putting in, taking out, and before you know it, no one's getting anything that's like that really speaks to them on the inside. It's like
yeah.
it's just enough to keep them like, okay, is just enough, but it's not. You're not like, it's not potent enough.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
We have to throw this in here. Tamara, you're lovely, lovely Tamara. I can't wait for you to see the tumors. I can't
The
wait either.
Turners, yeah,
Turners,
yeah,
Turners. I can't wait either. And that's a great excuse, like I said, to have them back on the show. So,
yeah.
you know,
It won't
as
take six
we,
years this
yeah, hopefully,
time. It won't.
hopefully not. Oh man, this has been a fun episode as we kind of bring this train into the station here. I have to say, definitely this has been a great one for me, Frank.
Oh, same,
I could
same.
go on and on and on asking about this, talking with you about that. I'm just glad I got the ball rolling and got you on here. So definitely,
Yeah,
whenever you're working on something or promoting anything that you're working on, like Black Man or this, um, I want you to come on. I want you to come on to the show
I
and
appreciate that.
promote that. Were you surprised? Kind of did that surprise you that the kind of the swell and just getting on the list for being a cat? Were you surprised at the rise of it as it got out there?
Um, nah, nothing. A lot of the award stuff, especially when it comes to animation, and it doesn't surprise me anymore. Not anymore. It's because there's a I feel like there's a view of animation that we have specifically in the US. um and a lot of animation is made here that is to uh speak to a younger audience. The medium is used differently. It's not it's
Yeah,
I don't feel, and I'm gonna just be honest, I don't feel like it's as respected. I feel like it's kind of like, some animated, you putting it at the kiddie table. And and also, if you're trying to say something, I think this in films in general, like,
yeah,
there's the political aspect of,
yeah.
the rhetoric
Mm,
that can go on. There's so I feel like we just, um the expectations of what animation is supposed to be, and how it's supposed to be crafted, what type of genre goes into an animated film, and it's very formulaic. And I have a hard time with it. And I think a lot of us, you'd be surprised, a lot of us on the teams making these films, you know we may love a film, and we may not agree with a lot of the decisions being made. And it's because you're not thinking of it as a film, you're thinking of it as an animated film. And so when you put that animated in front of it, you're automatically putting up these limitations, putting up these, and again, that goes back to the business side of it. That goes to the, four quadrant um,
Yeah.
audience that you're, because it's there's more money to be made, and so,
And that's what
but
it comes down to, business wise, the dollar.
yeah, and so I just feel like, um, yeah, I have to just do. I don't even remember the question now, but
Well, let me ask. Well,
I
let me
just feel.
ask you this. Let me ask you this last question. As we close out,
Uh,
um, what's kind of, you know, obviously you're working on the Turners, and that's going to be coming out
mm,
pretty soon. But what's kind of in the horizon for Frank Abney that you like to try? You're doing games now. You're
mhm.
working at a game studio. Is there other things that that you're looking at, wanting to try and do?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if I go back to, there's a live action short I shot some years ago, just to kind of test out the process for myself, and we'll see if I ever go back to do that again. But I have some game ideas as well. There's a game I have my BMX background,
Yeah,
and so there's I shared a little snippet from some testing that I was doing, on LinkedIn. It was a BMX game idea
yeah.
I was playing with, but resources. It's another thing. Like, so it'll like it'll get there when it gets there, and
Always comes down to
so
resources.
it's because there's a lot that I can't do myself, and then
Yeah,
it's like, finding the right people for it and stuff, um and yeah, working in games is great. Like, I love that I can do that, and I can do the film stuff on my own time,
yeah,
because I love the different ways you have to, like, put your brain. You have to think in different ways to solve different problems, and so, whether it's a technical problem, whether it's an artistic problem, whether it's
yeah,
a business problem that influences your creative decisions, and working with teams that are so great at all of them, it's yes, it's a beautiful thing. I just like to be able to, it's kind of like exercising with your body. You're flexing, you're exercising different muscles, and so I'm
absolutely.
thinking that in my mind as well. So you get to expand on different areas
Yeah,
and
and
make
that's the
you
beauty.
overall rounded.
Yeah, no, and as we close this out, I always say that's the beauty of this creative industry. There's so many different
Mm,
just lanes. You got, experiential
yeah.
design, animation for that. AR, VR. You got
Mm,
animation and film for that. So there's just so
mm,
many different things that like you said, can just scratch that creative itch of yours and of
yeah.
whatever it is you want to do. Frank, as we close this out and bring this into the station, and I can't say enough how much I appreciate you, coming on the show. Really just spending a little time sharing your knowledge and your skill and your value, with the viewers, and really just hanging out. You know.
Same here. I appreciate it. Appreciate
Yeah.
you even thinking of me to be on here. So
Hey, like I said, I had to have the great Frank Abney on for sure.
I appreciate it.
You guys got to make sure that you connect with Frank. Check out his website. Check out more of his work. Like I said, I didn't show, but a fraction of what Frank has created. He's worked on some amazing stuff. Spider Man, Into the Spider
Across
Verse,
the Spider Verse.
Cross the Spider Verse, the first one, yeah. Cross the Spider Verse. Worked on some of course, obviously Pixar stuff. He's worked on a bunch of them as well. So connect with them. You can find them on Instagram, on Threads. You may be able to find them on LinkedIn. That's where I connected with him at. But all this good stuff will be on the show notes so that you can connect with him for sure. Like I said, this has been kind of a dream come true for me there, Frank, and I'm glad this has got the ball rolling. Super, super excited about the Turners, and can't wait to see them when it comes out and all the other great stuff that you're working on. Man, cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Thank you.
All
I
right,
appreciate that. I'll show you some stuff.
everybody. If you could, and it's up to you, if you could hang out in the green room while I close this out, I would appreciate it. That way I get a chance to talk to you real quick before I let you go.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But everybody, please, please, please help me thank the awesome, talented, super talented, amazing Frank Abney. Appreciate you, brother, for coming on the show. As always.
There's my niece down there, I think.
Chanel next door. Love this whole thing. My forever inspiration. Awesome. Appreciate you supporting your uncle there. That's always good. I wish my nieces and nephews. They do. They support me. I'm just joking. I don't want to get no LinkedIn stuff. I'm just joking.
You're gonna get some text after
family support. You gotta love family. Hang out in the green room while I close this out there, Frank. But everybody, help me thank you again, Frank. Hang out for a second there, Frank. Close this out. Man. Season 6 is rolling along. Man, this is a good one. Like I said, this is 6 years in the making, but it was well worth the wait for sure. And cannot wait to have him back on. Mr. Paul Brown, I appreciate you tuning in as always. Tamara, appreciate you supporting your fiance there. Such an amazing conversation. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you back again for sure. Man, oh man, this has been, like I said, a great episode. I cannot wait, for, Mr. Frank to join us again for sure. I wanted to hop over to this scene here because I said this was I'm trying to figure out where in the show I want to start doing this, but this is my jobs board section that I'm going to do. My jobs board segment. During the week, I get a lot of, job leads on LinkedIn that aren't right for me. That I usually repost. So I said I wanted to do like a jobs section where I share just leads that I get that come across my feed on the show. So this, I think, is going to, hopefully it'll be, helpful for, others that are looking for employment, because a lot of people are in this time. This is from Blue Zoo. They're looking for, and this is a junior 3D animator. So this is a great opportunity, and all this, the links will be in the show notes. I'll have a link for the post, and I'll have a link for where you can apply at that I find. So you'll be able to find it there, and they'll all be in the show notes for sure. Also, this is REELFX, great studio. They're looking for pipeline project supervisor. So if that's your jam, definitely hop on over to REELFX and check them out. This one I'm liking. If you love FORTICHE, FORTICHE. If you've seen Arcane, then they're the studio behind Arcane. TD asset, a junior TD asset. Wow. So, but I don't know if that's remote or what. So if it's not, you're gonna have to go to France. So, but there's a lot of opportunities. I plan on sharing more for sure, but definitely I wanted to kick this segment off because I want to, start to really make this a resource for creatives to find opportunities during this time, because it's, obviously been a rough time for a lot of creatives, not just in the animation industry, but a lot of other industries as well. Again, I cannot thank you enough for giving me a little bit of your time this Saturday afternoon. It was a great episode. Next week is going to be no exception. Season 6, man, it's on fire. And so next week's going to be no exception. Super looking forward to my man, Mr. Wayne Carnegie, another former family member, coming back on the show. Professor, texture artist. He's going to be talking about his animated short he just finished, The Star Boy. So I'm super looking forward to Wayne coming back on the show and really updating us with what's been happening with him. All right. I hope you have an amazing weekend, a warm week, because it's going to be cold this week. And I hope you have a productive week. I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Cheers, everybody.